97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Are you kidding me? Is this right?
What's that, Christy?
My power bill is out of control.
Maybe it's time for some Champion energy-efficient windows. Champion windows are built tough with a lifetime guarantee. Plus, Champion Windows is celebrating over 72 years in business with a special 40% off anniversary sale.
40%? That's massive.
Plus, you can book a free estimate online in just minutes.
Visit ChampionSaveNow.com or call 877-GO-CHAMPION. Champion's 40% off anniversary sale won't last long. See store for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check for your wallet first before hitting the drive-thru.
$6.
Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the GPS directions first before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on home insurance by checking Allstate first.
Hold it.
Like to check the assembly instructions first.
Hold it.
Before building the bookcase.
And done. Whew. You can let go.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The KFH Studios, powered by Devon James Injury Lawyers. Call 888-8888.
That's 888-8888.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic conditions looking pretty good right now here in the Wichita area. With the traffic volumes picking up, you want to watch for a slowdown. Right now, we do have a stalled out vehicle. Could form a slowdown northbound I-235. And it's pretty close to Central. Traffic update from 98.7 and 1330 KNSS in the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center. I'm Jad Chambers.
Weather.
Sunny, breezy, and arguably hot today. A high of 88. That puts us 4 degrees above the norm. South winds 15 to 25 and gusty. Look for some showers and storms to arrive after midnight. Overnight low 68. Continuous showers and storms on Tuesday. Breezy and cooler. High 77. Partly cloudy and middle 70s on Wednesday. That's your Storm Team 12 forecast. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily coming up next exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Yo, New York, yo, New York, yo. Not dead, can't quit. Hey, Knick fan, that's how you do it. You come out in a must-win game in your barn, you punch the other guy in the mouth. The Knicks had to win that game to stay alive, and they played like it. The Pacers had 3 games to win 1, and they played like that. So now we're headed back to Indiana because of that. Stars show up, and they show out on the big stage. That's why they're stars. That's exactly what Jalen Brunson did. And I thought Tyrese Halliburton was going to the Garden to finish the kill. Instead, he was nowhere to be found. They flat out did not match the Knicks' intensity. And if that happens again in Game 6, they'll be right back in the Garden for Game 7, the last place they want to be. They should have been looking to finish Thursday night, and they better get the job done Saturday night, or we'll be asking best comeback ever or biggest choke ever. I'm Jim Rome. And remember, you can follow me on the X platform at Jim Rome.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. TJ Cleveland in for Tommy Castor today. I'm Jacob Albrock. Max Power in producing for us. It is an exciting Monday for Royals fans here. The big news yesterday, they are making the call. Jack Caglione joining the big league roster. Certainly lots on that. It's a topic we've been talking about for weeks as the Royals offense continues to struggle. Another struggling series. Bad timing. It's against the Tigers. They fall another game back in the standings. Now 8 games back, but last couple of games, we've seen them score 1 run in 2 games. And that is kind of the story of the season. We'll get into all of that throughout the show today. Maybe look ahead to the Thunder Pacers final in the NBA. State tracks in the books. TJ, you've been spending a lot of time out at Cessna here. How was everything this year?
It was good. Whatever it was, 4,000 whatever athletes, 2 days of 14-hour track events, just craziness. I think that we shot about like 85 or like 90 events throughout the weekend with all the coverage that we've done at KWCH. So definitely a tiring one. Got off early last night, was ready to go to bed, and then CAGS news broke. So I had to end up taking like melatonin to calm myself down because I was so fired up about the CAGS news.
It's pretty crazy news that we're going to spend a lot of time with today. Don't you worry, because it's been something on everybody's brain, a topic of discussion for a very long time this season. So we will, we'll dig into it. We will dig into everything and get you all prepared for the Jack Caglione news. What do we expect? All of these things as we make our way through the show today. Beautiful weekend, good weather, good golfing weather. I don't think either of us got a chance to play any this weekend, but the listeners will. We start our big contest today with Crestview Country Club, great supporter of the program. You're going to have a chance to win a round of golf and a cart on us. We're going to give away one of these a week through the month of June. So that opportunity will come later today in the show. No, TJ, you cannot enter. So the listeners can. We've been excited about this one. We're excited to get some people out there, hear what we're talking about all the time. So that'll happen today. We'll give away some HTO today as well. All kinds of good stuff for us. That's, Scotty Scheffler won another golf tournament, right? Like, we're entering that time of year where you can dig into things, but it was moderately slow, not for you because of state track, but on the, the larger sports
now it
landscape.
gets really slow for us.
What's that? Yeah,
Now
now, yeah.
it's really slow. That was like the mountaintop you were climbing towards. Now it's like, all right, the Royals play every day. That's our jobs now.
Yep, and then I feel like it gets to like the fever pitch, like the pinnacle of it is it July 4th when they do the hot dog eating contest?
Yep.
Every year over the years, I've worked July 4th, and I'm like, man, there is hopefully baseball and a hot dog eating contest.
That's
like that's what we're working with here. We're not quite there yet because we still have the NBA Finals. The one thing that does pick back up a little bit is the NFL and some of the stories and OTAs and all that kind of stuff that comes with it. We've got the NCAA baseball tournament right now. The top 2 seeds go down. Was it Vanderbilt and Texas both go down? So that's happening. The softball World Series is happening as well. That'll keep us, I think, entertained with headlines. But man, we don't have any regional interest teams involved in any of that stuff this year. So that's unfortunate. Kansas, is Kansas still alive?
No, they both got bounced this weekend. KU
Oh man, I saw the
KU
beginning of one of their games. That's too bad. Well, we're done then, I guess, with College Wars. We'll just have to watch for headlines at that point and watch for the next Jack Caglione, perhaps, which we're stalling for. We'll get into that in a minute. Let's do just real quick. If you missed the Royals, if you're out of town, anything, they dropped 2 or 3 from the Tigers, and we'll dig into this. They dropped 2 or 3 from the Tigers. The final 2 games, they score 1 combined run, and it was like I almost text Tommy this. I was like, this is gonna be the thing. Like they're like, all right, we just have had enough. Like we can't take it anymore. Just watching the game yesterday, and sure enough, and like I get it, right? Like it might be a little bit too early for a variety of reasons that we'll get into on the other side, but like at some point, like you just can't keep watching this. It is June, and nothing has changed for this offense from April when we were concerned about it. And you had to do it. You had to do something, make a trade or do this. That was it. Those were your only options.
Yeah. To pull back the TV curtain a little bit, I haven't told you this yet, Jacob. This is funny. Me and Brandon were laughing about it last night. Our Sports Sunday show that airs on KWCH, that if anybody you guys watched that at 10:30 last night, you might have been a little confused. We record the show at 6:00. And we did a 2-minute segment talking about why right now is the perfect time to call up Jack Caglione. And then that night, my phone was just blowing up from everybody in the newsroom. It's like, oh my gosh, you guys knew it. You knew it. You called it. I said, oh, am I gonna have to come back in? And we're like, just leave it. We'll tell at least people know that we know what we were talking about now.
Yeah. So for this time of year when there's nothing going on at night, especially on a Sunday, the Royals usually play day baseball. Yeah, that show typically gets pre-recorded. Not as much during the football season, but yeah, that's funny. I mean, we all felt it, right? Like it's not that it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Like it's not like we haven't all felt it. Like we've all felt it for 2 months now, and it was really like I would have called him up a long time ago if it were me. Being reminded that hey, like you got to protect the service time. All right, I'll concede that. That's probably the right thing. But man, they're 8 games back right now of Detroit, and it's June 2nd. And while you can pretty much toss that to the side, I'm not saying they can't run down Detroit. They can, but that's not the way you're thinking about it even now. Like you're just like are you going to fall out of a wild card spot now? There are lots of them.
In the AL, you can't change. I mean, that's the thing that we talked about last night is the fact that like they're playing above 500 baseball, but they just so happen to be playing in the best conference or best division in all of baseball. So you can't afford to lose games 1-0 like that when your ace goes out and gets you a start like that.
And it's been happening all year long. I mean, and it wasn't sustainable, and that stuff has a trickle effect, and it can be debilitating. So hopefully, and again, give us about 2 minutes to get through this next commercial break. Like we'll dig way into it. There's a lot of pressure on him right now, and that's a dangerous time to bring somebody up to. I get it. I get all of that. We're about to find out though, like, because what else are you like outside of making a big trade? They really didn't have a lot of choices. And when you think big picture, like what's on the line for them, they can't not make the playoffs this year, or at least be right there at the end of the year. They're trying to build new stadiums. They're trying to keep this momentum. They finally have some momentum into this fan base. But Seth Lugo and some of these older Michael Wacha, like they're not going to be in Kansas City forever. I don't think. mean, the Royals are fortunate that Waka's back this year, but you've got all that. You've got Salvi getting older. Like, you got to go right now. Like, it's been that way to me. It's felt that way all year, and they just were watching it like, there's this thing wrong with the team that they could fix. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's right there for you.
The biggest part, I think, of the season, and even Caglione getting called up adds to it as well, is that this is, I mean, on paper, this is the best roster that they've had since 2015. This roster is better than last year's roster, and they're going to start extending guys as this goes on and on and on. This is going to be the cheapest it's probably going to be in a long time once these guys, like Michael Garcia is going to be due for something if he keeps this up. Caglione is going to be due for something if he can do what he does.
Yeah, a long way away. Let's hope that he does. Let's dig into it. Royals make the call. Cags is coming up. What do we expect? That's next. Albrocht and Cleveland on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now. 831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Enjoy this great weather one more day. Again, stay tuned for your opportunity. If you're enjoying golf in this warm weather, we're going to give the listeners a chance to win some round of golf for 2 out at Crestview Country Club and a cart, and that is coming later in the show today. So we'll do it. Be ready. 1 a week. We're doing this. Okay. So let's talk Cags, TJ. It was pretty obvious, the lead today, and where we'll spend probably most of our time here. And the reason is obvious. The Royals offense needs an infusion very, very badly. But the thing is, and this is what makes it so difficult, again, yesterday, no runs on 9 hits, right? Hits are not this team's problem. They can get on base, but they have a severe power issue, and they have all year. And I do think there will be natural improvement as Bobby Witt Jr. hits for a little more power. But I do think Salvi's going to hit for a little more power, although it looks like his may be turning into doubles now. The Royals are 12th in baseball, TJ, in hits. They're 12th in baseball in hits. And they're 28th in baseball in runs scored. They're, I believe, still DAL. Yeah, they're last by a decent margin in home runs. They are last in, not last, but they are 26th in slugging percentage. They're just not hitting for any power. And so, like, you can call up another guy that's going to come up and hit for some average and be good, but they have such a clear need. And the top power prospect in baseball in their system, who's advanced and older and all of these things, like, you just couldn't ignore this very much longer.
Yeah, there was a stat that I saw yesterday. I think it was Jesse Newell from the KC Star tweeted that there's 8 players that have 3 or more home runs or multi-home. I think 2 home runs in Kauffman Stadium this season, and only 3 of the 8 players are Kansas City Royals. That shows you just how bad the power numbers are. Like, Salvador Perez doesn't have multiple home runs in his home ballpark, and that's supposed to be one of your biggest power bats. So the argument that I made at work yesterday is we're going to, if they didn't call him up, like if he wasn't in AAA and it was a different organization in the same scenario, people are going to go crazy about trading a prospect to go get somebody like Brent Rooker to play corner outfield and have a big bat. And it's like, you have it in AAA. Like Caglione, obviously he's a first baseman turned outfielder, but you're not going to get Brent Rooker for his defense. It doesn't matter who you put in right field when Hunter Renfroe is your right fielder right now. So as you said, kind of glaringly obvious that it was going to happen. It's more so just the fact that it happened this week that is the bigger headline than all.
Yeah. It was going to happen. They look, the Royals have a lot to think about and consider here. I get it. That the corner out, once they sent down Melendez, like the corner outfit again, like the problem is it's just none of it's for power.
Yeah.
None of it. And the problem was going to be that Cags plays first base and has never really played the outfield. But that was something that surprised me. And look, I don't have any problem with the Royals plan now that we've seen it. Like, clearly he started the year in Double-A, and it was like, because he didn't light the world on fire last year when he was in High A. Like, it was okay, it was fine. But he gets to Double-A, and clearly the thing is like, okay, we need to make sure you're not overmatched at the plate. We're not going to mess with anything else. He's not. He tears cover off the ball. Everything's good. But it was driving us crazy that they wouldn't play him in the outfield. It's like, why aren't we like? You're in Double-A. Like, go learn how to play the outfield real quick. And I know that sounds stupid to say because it's a professional baseball player, but learning real quick. But like, he's an athlete and he's played baseball, and I'm sure this isn't the first time he's ever played outfield in his life, right? So just get it. They wouldn't do it. I think they did it like twice, right?
Yeah,
like once or twice
until the final.
So then he gets the call up to Triple-A. And I didn't even know this was happening until I talked to you. We're all just enamored with the fact that he's hitting 5 home runs a week and doing all, and he's playing the outfield. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a part of the development. This has been a part of the plan. They were going to get him up to Triple-A. The jump in talent from the pitching he'll face isn't tremendous from Double-A to Triple-A. He'll have to show that he's going to be a more patient hitter, which is not his thing, by the way, most likely. But then they also were using that time to play him in the outfield. So I'm like, okay, I'm good with all of this. Like, I am set. Like, this is good for me. And I think he was fine, like we all assumed he would be. A young, athletic guy playing a corner spot right now. Well, they didn't have any more time to wait. The danger of is the service time. So the Royals will never say this, but it is. I mean, for a small market team and a prospect like this, if Cags comes up and lights the world on fire, he probably could still win Rookie of the Year. That'll cost him a year of eligibility. So that's I don't know how much they can prevent that at this point. You might just have to eat it. Hopefully, and I haven't even looked. I don't even know who the leaders. Let me look. Who the Rookie of the Year leaders are right now.
It's the A's Jacob Wilson right now. I was looking at because Cags jumped from about like 25-1 to 13-1 last night.
Okay, so that's still
It's
pretty.
It's like the fourth odds best favorite.
And remind me, in Rookie of the Year, do we give one in each league?
Yep.
Okay, so he's got to be, Wilson, he becomes the second. Jason Dominguez, that's it. Cam Smith has been a dud. Nick Kurtz just went on the DL, and these other guys aren't going to win it. Jacob Wilson's been pretty good. He's been pretty good, but it's June 2nd, and they'll play, he'll play a game on June 3rd. He's catchable. I shouldn't just say Jacob Wilson's been pretty good. He's actually been really, really good.
Yeah.
Maybe he will be harder to catch. Is he from last year's class too?
He got called up this year.
But is he last year's draft class?
I think he's 2 years ago.
2023 MLB draft. Yeah. Grand Canyon.
Yep.
Who's got a pretty good baseball program. So, yeah, he's batting almost 360. He's got some power. He's already got a 7 home run head start. Cags ain't gonna come up and bat 360. So maybe there's some protection there. I am moderately concerned about that. That would be tough. But again, like, that's tough in 6 years. I mean, they're trying to build stadiums. They're trying to do this thing, and maybe they have the capability to, if all goes well and he's great, to extend him like they did Bobby Witt Jr. and get a couple extra years. I don't know. But they clearly couldn't play that game anymore. Like, they couldn't try to hold him down so that he didn't. They're going to fall out of the wild card if they're not careful.
Yeah, the biggest argument to the service time argument is that, if you're scared of the Super 2, because he's already passed the threshold where it's not going to be.
It's got to be Rookie of the Year.
It's only going to be Super 2. So it's either Rookie of the Year or second place in Rookie of the Year, I believe, is the way that the rule sits. It's Super 2.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah, so it could. I mean, it could be
second place. Yeah.
But the thing is, though, like what I brought up last night is that if you call up a guy and he's like second or first in Rookie of the Year voting, like, that's not going to be a bad thing. Like, obviously, in terms of money and everything like that, but I do think that the way that these young prospects have been treated, the Bobby Witt Jr., the Michael Harris got the contract, just a couple of years into his deal. So I think that if he produces, they're going to do something like that. But the thing is also, he's 23. It's not Bobby Witt Jr., who was 20 years old, 19 years old, whatever it was, whenever he got called up. So, I mean, when his contract's done, he's going to be 28 years old. Like, it's not a young kid that's going to get a big super max, which obviously, baseball years are different than football years and everything like that. So, but yeah, it's really interesting. You brought up it's the division race, honestly, the part that just scares me the most. The fact that the offense has been bad, but they've still been above 500. But the fact of the matter is that that's not really going to be good enough when you're playing in the AL Central right now. Your pitching staff has been unbelievable, and you've just got to give them something because you're just letting them die. And you know, it may have been yesterday. It might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, you go out and lose a ball game like that. It's just like, all right, something's got to give.
Yeah, and it's not even just the ALs. It's the AL. All the way up and down. Right now, the Royals, and it's too early to start really, but you've got all but probably 3 teams in the American League. You could make a case right now today that they are still in the mix for the wild card in the American League. Like, it's not like there's just not any schedule relief. And we've talked about this on this show a lot. Like they had the huge streak, right, of winning whatever it was, 18 to 20. That's the only part of this season where they get a favorable schedule. That's it. That's literally the June is brutal. Yep. Like this month is going to be rough schedule wise. And it probably so you have to factor that in too. There's a decent chance, you know, they end this month and they're double-digit games behind the Tigers. There's no question. Like it'll be tough. So what has to change now? Well, how many of these games where you felt like there's just a little bit more, they'd be wins. They just can't keep doing that forever or they're going to fall out. And to me, that's where you have to just sort of like assess your risk. What is riskier to this organization holistically? To fall flat this year or to lose a year of service time for CAGs? And so I think when you think about it that way, which is probably the way they're thinking about it, it becomes more apparent like we just have to do it. Like we can't afford to take that risk anymore. Our pitching cannot be any better than it has been. Like it's probably going to be worse, right? It's not going to hold up like if these starters go this way the rest of the year, I'll be very surprised, right? They've already seen a couple of injuries. They've been very fortunate that Noah Cameron's been really good. Obviously, the Chris Bubic experiment is incredible, and we can talk about that later in the show. But the bullpen, you're already seeing some cracks because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable to hold every team under 3 runs every game. It's not. I mean, and when you can't score much more than 3 runs a game, it just won't work. And so this had to be done. It had to be done. Risk be damned. It had to be done. And, as an organization, I think it's the right call. They've put him in the outfield. You've solved that problem. I don't know how the rotation will be, but you don't make that call and not have him playing 6 days a week. Like you have him up and you have him playing, and you're going to have to live or die with his struggles, which he'll have some, out of the gates. He will. All young players do, especially when your skill set is what his skill set is, which is to swing at a lot of pitches. And he does that, and he's going to pay for that in the big leagues.
Yeah, the argument has been the entire time the biggest argument in my head, at least, of why you would keep them down is the fact that he played first base, and you're not going to call a guy up to play DH, and this guy's not going to be better than Vinny Pasquantino, who on paper is a top 3 player in your offense. He hasn't been this year, but you're not going to jump Vinny Pasquantino. And if you make him DH, you got Salvador Perez, who it's not sustainable for him to catch every game anymore. So you're going to have to give and take something. So I think the fact of when he played 2 weeks in AAA, and I think he played right field in at least 60 or 70% of the games. Like he only played like 2 or 3 starts at first base. So once you get that problem solved, honestly, I agree. This season is honestly, like, not to speak in dramatics, it's June 2nd, but it's kind of getting the do or die time that if they start falling below 500, if they fall deeper in the wild card race, if the offense can't pick up, do you look at selling, like when does it become unattainable?
If they're out of it by the end of this month, it'll be devastating. Devastating. I don't think it'll be that bad because I think their pitching is too good. Brandon asks us if we could give a quick overview by what we mean by service time. So Brandon, you've heard arbitration years in baseball. So baseball, you have control of a player for X number of years before they hit free agency. So in a lot of situations, you'll see a team, they have the years that they'll play before arbitration years. the arbitration years are interesting because teams can choose to basically take players to court over how much money they should make. It's a nasty process that nobody ever likes to get into. Yeah. So sometimes you'll see teams do what the Royals did with Bobby Witt Jr., and they'll basically buy out all those early years and cook in. We'll buy out all these years, Bobby Witt Jr. We'll go ahead and bet that you're going to be great, but you got to give us 2 years of your initial free agency on the back end. And so that's what they did with that. That's why that deal's so long. But the timer on which that all starts, though, that's what service time is. So there's 2 things that happen in a season. You can call, like Bobby Witt Jr. started the year with the Royals. He's going to accrue a year of service time. That counts against his clock that goes up against free agency until his free agency starts. What is it? A post June? What's the post date?
I don't know.
It's sometime early in the season. Like there's a set number of days they have to be up on the big league roster. So there's usually a clear date in the season where especially small market teams will stall, right, the call up to get past that date so they don't lose it. The only caveat, and this was collectively bargained the last time, is if that player still is a top 2 rookie of the year player, they will get that year of service time, even though they haven't spent the amount of time. So basically what it all means is if Jack Caglione is in the top 2 in rookie of the year voting, the Royals will have control of him for 1 less year than they would have otherwise. So that's what service time is. So it's a game, again, especially for small market teams. Like the Yankees would never do this. The Dodgers would never do this because they don't care, right? They plan on paying these guys. But for a team like the Royals where your finances are a little strapped, like you want to keep that more affordable control. TJ's point is, and I think he's right, if all goes well and according to plan, and he's the kind of player they think he could be, there's probably pretty likely a path like we saw with Bobby Witt Jr., where they'll buy a lot of that out anyway, and maybe it doesn't matter. But it's a risk. It's a risk because if he's a pretty good player, you have him for a less year because pretty good players make a whole lot of money in baseball, and the Royals don't have a whole lot of money, especially for position players, and that's what could happen. That could be that they did this with Salvador Perez. Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't the first. Salvador Perez did the exact same thing when he was 21-year-old hotshot catcher. So hopefully that's what happens. I mean, hopefully Cags tears the cover off the ball and they just give him a deal like they gave Bobby Witt Jr. That's future your franchise and you ride off into the sunset. But that's what service time is. And that's why he has not been called up yet. Probably. Look, there are more reasons. He didn't have a spot. He's blocked. So getting him to the outfield is a reason. It's a legitimate reason. Making sure his approach at the plate translates. But I got to tell you, TJ, we can get into this in the next segment too. His approach at the plate hasn't really changed. He is who they thought he'd be. He swings a lot.
Yeah, I saw
his usually a death sentence for young players getting to the big leagues.
I saw a stat on the fan graphs. His walk rate for the week 1 when he hit the 5 home runs, he walked in less than 2% of his at bats. And I think the only walk that he took was an intentional walk. So the dude likes to swing the bat. He's not Vinny Pasquantino when he was in AAA. That dude walked a lot in AAA. So
that was the best part of Vinny's game. Yeah. Quite frankly, it's what's translated for him. It's why he's been able, I think, to be a good big league player. Bobby Witt Jr. had the same thing when he was a young player. Like when he came up, remember, he was not a 300 hitter. Like he was like a 240 hitter. I remember his first year thinking, man, if he ever gets to be like a 260 hitter, look out, right? Like watch out. He's going to be great. And then, of course, he did take the next evolution, which is to become a very patient hitter. Now, he's not the most patient, but here's what gets a little bit tried. And the Royals aren't a walk team anyway. Salvi doesn't really walk much. Bobby isn't walking as much. They've got Vinny, but they don't walk a ton. It's not the thing that they do. So, there's a risk there. And I hope, again, give us just a minute. I hope that they are able to be patient with that, because it's going to be a problem. He probably will strike out quite a bit here early on.
Yeah, the thing is, I know you listen to, JJ Piccolo talk about this, and I know there's a lot of GM speak and things you can't say, like the service time stuff. But, one of the biggest arguments that JJ made was the fact of we want to call him up when we're playing well, so that way he doesn't get the burden of trying to help the offense. And it didn't happen. The offense is terrible. So we'll talk more about that, I'm sure. But, how much pressure do you put on a 23-year-old bat?
A lot. A whole lot. That's what we'll talk about next. Cags gets the call. We're talking about it on Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now. 83-10-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad to be here with you on Sports Daily. It's all Brockton Cleveland here. Tommy will be back tomorrow. All right, let's do this. Let's win a little golf. You want to score a round of golf for two with a cart out at Crestview Country Club? All you got to do right now is text the keyword golf to 20357. You can enter once per day. It goes in 24-hour cycles here. We'll pick winners every Friday this month. Message and data rates apply. You can find more details at kfhradio.com or knssradio.com. But again, this is a round of two with a cart at Crestview Country Club. We always talk about how much we appreciate their support of the program. Tommy and I are both out there. We love all our great listeners that are out there. We want to get an opportunity for some of the great listeners to get out there that maybe aren't. Golf 20357 right now. We'll do it every month, every week, I should say, this month. It's going to be a lot of fun. TJ, you got to be out there about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. You came out and played with Tommy and I. It was good. It was a good time. The course looks great as they're getting ready for the Wichita Open here, and we're excited for the listeners to get out and check it out.
I was a double bogey machine that day, but I parred hole 17, so it's the only thing I wanted to do on the day. I got it done.
Lots of pars, lots of double bogeys. That's pretty par the course for me as well. Yeah, 17, of course, the famous 17. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I don't think it was up that day. The bleachers will be a little different. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
They're shorter and they're wrapped down the hole, which I think will prevent it from getting so hot. Like I think it's a really good idea. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous. The wife got tickets for her and her family and everything like that. So I'll be walking the course and doing all that stuff while they sit on the party hole and take it all in.
Yeah, we'll be out there. We'll be out there doing this a little bit too, and having fun on the radio Thursday and Friday for the Wichita Open. But good luck, everybody. We'll do that if you're, you can enter that all day long if you're watching us on the video stream. If you're listening to us on the app after the show airs here, you can still enter. That's golf 20357. Good luck. All right, we're talking Cags. So Jack Caglione couldn't have done really anything else in AAA. I mean, it was like he was kind of at the peak of what he's going to do. He's never going to be hotter. He's never going to be, however you want to, describe it. Like he was not going to be doing any better. His minor league numbers as a whole between double and AAA this year, TJ, at 17 home runs, 70 RBI. He can run a little bit, but he was a 292 hitter with an 875 OPS overall. Those would be all things that the Royals are in desperate need of at the big league level. The question becomes, what do we expect? I think I saw it this morning or last night. He would have what would be a top 5 chase rate in baseball right now if he was up at the big league level. That's what he's done at the minor league level. So patience is one of those things that translates and helps players quickly acclimate. Chasing pitches is not so much one of those things. Now, there are guys who can just do it, but more often than not, that's not a good thing, right? He swings at too many pitches, and big league pitchers are going to use that against him. They're going to know that right out of the gates. So it's going to be very difficult for him, I think, to not want to come up and be the savior, which he needs to be the savior, because he's not going to get a ton of pitches, I don't think, early on here to allow it. Like they're going to make him be patient. And so I think it becomes really important where they put him in the lineup. I think it becomes like all of this stuff is going, like they can't bring him up and make him the number 5 hitter. I don't think right out of the gates. I think you got to, if you want to put him between, I don't know, Salvi and Vinny, I think you could think about that, which would maybe make him a 5 hitter, but you'd have to do it that way. Or you got to protect him though. Like you can't, I don't know where to put him. I like when I saw that news, I'm like, where should he hit? I don't know where he should hit.
The thing is, though, is, protecting him, the argument in that, it's like, what are you protecting him from? They scored 1 run the last 2 games, like it's
you're protecting him from the way he'll be pitched to.
Yeah,
if you can.
I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with, honestly, if he's the Joey Gallo slashes where he's going to strike out an
No.
astronomical amount, as long as he can hit 30 home runs, that'll help the team. 100%.
You should take those words out of your mouth. You don't want him to have
a good year of Joey Gallo.
You don't want him to have Gallo splits. Like it'll take it from a Rangers fan. Like that's the problem with that is you're too unproductive too often. And that's where you have to protect him a little bit. Like, how do you help him? He's not going to have like natural patience at the plate. He's never had that. He's going to have to develop that over some off seasons and some real hard work. You essentially, and this is why guys spend a little more time. Like, you have to change your approach at the plate that you've had that's gotten you to this point. Like, the reason you're here, the reason you were drafted, like all of these things. And quite frankly, from what I can tell, the reason he did fall to 6, because he does have prodigious power, is because of that chase rate. Teams are afraid of it. They're afraid he'll just come up and be Joey Gallo, basically. Like, you can't come up and strike out in half your at-bats. So he hasn't done that, though, at the minor league level. That's what's really interesting. It has not led to all of the strikeouts. He struck out in AAA. Hang on, let me break that apart.
It was 8 times.
Yeah, and that's 9. I've got 9 strikeouts in 47 at bats.
Yeah.
So 9 strikeouts in 12 games. That's really good, right?
Yeah.
But he's only walked 5 times. But his strikeout to walk ratio then at that point is only 9-5. So like, that's pretty good. Like, if he can translate that, it doesn't matter that he swings at a lot of pitches, right? He struck out 37 times in 152 at bats in AA. So it kind of stayed the same, right? It kind of just has been the same. What did he do in high A last year? 26 strikeouts and 116 at bats. So he's pretty much done the same thing now at 3 levels of minor league baseball. And if that goes to the big leagues, like, that's fine. Like, that's not a big deal at all. That's like a strikeout a game. Like, you'll live with that. So I mean, how much are they willing to just throw him in, or do they just put him at the bottom of the lineup and say, do which one? But the problem is, like, you can't let pitchers pitch around him. That's where, I mean, he needs protection. Like, you can't just say, oh, it's going to be Cags in the middle of, Kyle Isbell and whoever, where they can just pitch around Cags so that they can get to the next guy. Like, that's where he needs protection.
Yeah, I honestly think he's going to be hitting 5-hole. I think that, like,
so where does Garcia hit then?
I don't even know where Garcia has been hitting. He's been hitting top of the order, hasn't he? Not leadoff, but he's been.
Well, when India doesn't play, I think he's been hitting 5-hole most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I would put him between any of those, the 3 guys. Garcia, Pasquantino, Salvi. Just slide him in there. You got to get him in the top half of the order, though. I think, because the fact of the matter, what you talked about is they get on base, the guys that they have, and they just don't have anybody to bring them in. I don't want to put your 5 guys that get the majority of your hits and then give Caglione the possibility to drive in John Rave and Drew Waters. Like, I'd rather him be hitting.
So, but the problem is right now, like, if he hit 5th last night, Michael Garcia missed the game. He's a little dinged up. Hopefully that doesn't hold him out. He had an injury, right thumb soreness is what they're calling it. But if he'd hit 5-hole last night, he'd have been followed by Drew Waters. He'd have been. Let's say he replaces Drew Waters in the 5-hole. He would have been followed by Rave, Lofton, Massey, Isbell. You think a pitcher's going to throw a pitch to Jack Caglione?
True.
No. So that's what I mean. Like, you can do that and have him protecting Vinny or Sal, which it doesn't make a lot of sense. Or you can sandwich him in, which is what I think is the right thing to do. What does that mean, though? Like, honestly, like, normally to say, like, I'd hit him 3-hole, it sounds crazy because you're like, why would you do that? But they are not scoring any runs. Like, what? So what are you afraid of breaking?
Yeah.
Bobby Witt Jr. won't hit anywhere but second. We know that. So what else are you in danger of? You want to lead him off? Lead him off. Like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, but what I don't want, and it'll be so fascinating to see, is just a bunch of guys behind him, because pitchers will pitch around him. They won't want to pitch to him, because the reality is, like, why wouldn't you? This team can't score any runs. So are you really afraid of a Kyle Isbell single? No, you're not as a pitcher. You're afraid of a Jack Caglione home run. That's the way they're going to approach it because they're professionals, and why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And so now you have to think about, okay, what could you do? Could you hit him 3-hole? He's got Bobby in front of him, and then you go Vinny, Salvi, or Salvi, Vinny. Now, like, you want to walk, you want to pitch around Jack Caglione? Okay, fine. Like, we'll take our chances, and put him on base with Vinny or Salvi or Michael Garcia. That's what I would do with him. I'd sandwich him in there, not because you're hoping he can be productive from that point, which of course you are, but to protect him from getting pitched around, because his MO right now is to be pitched around. Like, it's glaringly obvious what big league pitchers should do with him. And that's not throw him any pitches he can hit, but you got to put him in a place where they're not allowed to do that as often.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, me being bullish, but I think the fact of the matter is something we talked about last night, is that, usually when these top prospects, you really get the rose-colored glasses on. Like when Bobby was a prospect that one year when he was climbing through, it's like, well, this guy's better than Adalberto Mondesi. Like, why isn't this guy playing? Like, and usually it's not the case. Like, your rose-colored glasses are really on, but this year with this offense, it's like he is doing things at AAA that I don't think that Vinny Pasquantino could go to AAA and do. Like, I don't think that anybody on like except Bobby Witt Jr. could probably go down there and do that. So the fact of the matter is, like, he's shown you like unbelievable things at AAA level. Like, there's no reason to believe that he couldn't go up and bat in the 3-hole and just do it till you're proven wrong. And if he's batting, 120 after a week of doing it, then maybe that's when you make it. But I think that's the best possible thing that they can do, is to sandwich him in a spot where he can get RBIs and not get pitched around.
I agree. If you go back and look, and if just Bobby Witt Jr. is a generational talent. Like, I think not. I'm not saying Jack Caglione is the kind of prospect Bobby Witt Jr. is. He's a rung under that. He's not. Bobby Witt Jr. type prospects don't come around very often. Bobby Witt Jr., when he got the call at 22, by the way, hit 350. He had his below league average in OPS. Like, he stole a ton of bases, but he didn't even get to a 1 WAR that year. Like, you have to temper your expectations with these players. He struck out 135 times. He wasn't walking much. He walked 30 times. But I'm going to tell you what's happened. And of course, the next year Bobby Witt Jr. took off, right? And then last year was when he really took off. But think about this for a second. Through those 3 years, his strikeouts went from 135 down to 121, down to 106 last year. Okay, his walks went from 30 to 40 to almost 60 last year. This is what happens with great players. They strike out less, they walk more, they become more patient hitters that swing at better pitches. Right? There are outliers. Salvi's an outlier. Salvi swings at everything. Vladimir Guerrero was an outlier. He swung at everything. Those are Hall of Fame players. It can happen. We don't know that about Cags yet. Like, can he be that kind of wild free swinger? I don't know yet. We haven't seen him play a second of Major League Baseball. But more often, if he's going to be the player he's going to be, it's going to be because he becomes more patient. That's what they want, I'm sure, to see it, but they don't have time now. Like, they need his power so desperately, they call him up. We'll continue the conversation into the next hour, those expectations. We'll take a look back at this Detroit series. It's all coming for Sports Daily. Stick around.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now. 83101 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland in for Tommy, and we are glad to be with you here for another hour of Sports Daily. Should be another fun hour. We continue the conversation on Jack Caglione. You can chime in, by the way. You can give us a call, 869-1240. You can leave us your voice messages on the Odyssey app, which is always fun. You can do that. But if you're listening to the app, you just click that little microphone, or you can hit our video streams. Thanks for watching on 12 News Connected. Big 12 News partnership with Storm Team 12 started today. It's good to hear Jake Dunn on the weather update. So excited about that partnership growing beyond just this show. But you can also find us on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. You can leave us comments directly there. You can tweet at us as Mallory Lutz did and says, tough stretch for the Royals. Excited to see what Cags brings. Tuning in to hear more from us. We are all excited. I just want to be careful and understand the risks that are involved here with putting too much expectation on a young player for a contending team that needs it desperately. But it's also exciting to find out what the kid's made of. You know, like it's easy to come up and come into a struggling team. And, you know, there are some times where that brings different pressures. No, you're expected to come in now and do the job to help this team get to the playoffs. Like that's not the same thing as to come up and, you know, sometimes like Bobby Witt Jr. to save a franchise, right? Or to just kind of get some reps. No, this isn't a, hey, come figure it out with us while we struggle down the stretch. This is a, we need your bat right now to help us win baseball games.
The real question I got to ask you that we haven't talked about at all yet. He got drafted as a two-way player, and they said they'll just figure out the pitching later. Is that going to happen?
That's a good question.
It's not going to happen this year.
No, but it's hard. To be fair, like it's hard to imagine taking a year off. I mean, it happens.
He's talked about it before. That he said like they basically told him like we're not going to waste time in development on pitching. We need your bat right now. Like you can take a year off of pitching and figure it out. You can't take a year off of hitting and figure that out. So
no, I mean,
he said he's been playing long toss like he's going to start whenever. But I mean, he just hasn't thrown bullpens is the only difference of what you do.
Listen, he's an okay pitcher, right? Like he
didn't get drafted 6 overall because of his pitching.
No, and it's not, and I don't like, it's going to be unfair now every time we hear somebody can be a two-way player because they're going to think of Shohei.
Yeah.
Shohei is the best hitter and the best pitcher in the world, possibly when he's on. Okay. So it's not like, that's not fair. Jack Caglione, I don't think ever projected at any point to be more than like a relief pitcher at the big league level, which is handy. I've always thought guys that could pitch should just be relievers, right? Like you're saving roster space, you're doing all this stuff. They're a playoff. They're not going to say, "Hey, come in and give us an inning here." No, he's going to have to work through that. I don't know if he hasn't thrown a pitch in the minor leagues.
No, they told him basically when they drafted him, they said, we'll figure this out eventually once you get called up, is what he's been vocal about. Like, I want to do it. They want me to do it, but we're not going to do it right now. So I honestly think that, you know, if things go well with his bat this year, I think that's something that we'd see ramp up in spring training next year. I think that he'd get like a start in spring training and then just kind of see where it goes from there. And then it might not be a thing, but I think that next year is when they start experimenting with that, which I think is awesome. What I brought up though,
his college ERA was 4.50 over 2 years. Like
he's a reliever. He's a reliever that comes in and is going to throw like 98, basically, is what
he's not going to help them very much out of the pen, I don't think.
That's what I think. But what I did say though is, can you imagine what it's going to be like that one time the Royals are up 10-0 and they don't want to burn a bullpen arm? Like, all right, bring in Caglione and just 98, 99. That'll be the coolest position player pitching ever.
It would be, but they're not going to do that because now, like, when you see that happen, those dudes are throwing soft toss. Like, they're not.
He would let it rip. 100, at least.
Well, but that's what they're not going to let him let it rip. Like, you know, like they're not going to say, yeah, come in, wild thing, and give us the gas.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
sliders for the first time in a decade.
He's going to have to, and this is why this is like, you got to like get in front of our people and just throw a bullpen session and let's just see what that looks like. Because a 4.50 ERA in college doesn't project anything more than learning how to become a crafty or an effective relief pitcher anyway, right? He wasn't Shohei. Like, we got to be.
He would be, if he was only a pitcher, he'd get drafted it'd be a project. He'd get drafted solely because of his velocity.
Sure.
And he'd be a project that you would bring up in, maybe in 5 years or something like that. He'd be a really slow roller and could end up being like a Scott Barlow for you, basically.
Yeah. And so whatever, like, that's fine. But that is like, I mean, I don't like nowhere on the radar. Maybe it's a project. And even like, if you look at next year, he's going to get this time this year, unless he just is unbelievable, right? You're going to have a lot to work on as a hitter next offseason.
That's the thing. Now that they haven't done it for so long, unless he is insane, they're not going to do it. Like, if he comes in this year and he bats 330, then they're going to be like, well, why not? He doesn't need to work on anything else, But
it could be something. Look, it could be something down the road or whatever. And I don't even think, like, I think you'd be crazy not to at least try it, right? Like, you'd be like, don't totally dismiss it. It just doesn't help you right now. And that's what you got to, like, it's an easy conversation with him. Like, look, you can either sit down in the minor leagues and we'll come up with a plan for you to also learn how to pitch, or we need you at the big leagues level right now. Why don't you come do that? And what do you think he's going to say? Right? Like, okay, that was fun while it lasted. Or we'll just put that on the back burner. Let me focus on doing the things that we've talked about, not striking out much, which he didn't do at the minor league level, but he didn't walk much. But again, like, go watch what happens with most of these young players that take off. They start to strike out less and they start to walk more. He's going to have to do that now. He doesn't know how to do that yet. I cannot imagine a world where magically he gets the call to the big league level and all of a sudden doesn't start chasing pitches. Like, the thing that he's done his entire life, the thing that made him basically not be the number 1 overall pick, but the number 6 overall pick, is that he swings at too many pitches. That's going to happen here out of the gates at the big league level. Is he so prodigious that he can? Or is he going to have to take his lumps a little bit? And that's where, like, as we get into this, everybody, like, I think the expectation should be for him to struggle a little bit, but still provide them some power when they need it. And I think that'll be okay. But you got to start there, because they're just not going to pitch to him right away. And if they do, it's a mistake. They shouldn't be pitching to him.
The fact of the matter is that with the prospect like him, obviously, like you said, he's a rung below what Bobby Witt was as a prospect. But I mean, we watched Bobby Witt go through it. Like, he basically developed in the major leagues. Like, and that's kind of what's going to have to happen here. Like, it's basically like you've gotten to the point where you aren't going to learn anything else in AAA. Like, you need to come in and face Chris Sale type of pitchers and figure out how to do this.
He would have learned it in AAA. That's where you learn it. I mean, that's why they put him there. Like, it would have been, I've always heard, like, one of the big differences between AAA and AA is not talent. It's that pitchers know what they're doing at that level. And so, yeah, a lot of them are. And that's what, like, that's the reason on players. Some players skip it all together. Some players go there. That's the reason they go there. But we'll find out tomorrow. The Royals are off today. We'll find out tomorrow. All this time we've spent on Jack Caglione, we have not spent time on what's happened at the big league level this week, including their biggest series of the year at home, in which they dropped 2 of 3. So as we make our way through here into this next segment, let's talk about that. We'll get into the NBA Finals a little preview. I'm going to pick TJ's brain. He's more locked into the NBA than I am at this point in life. Not much. Brandon's kind of our NBA guy right now, but we've got a lot going on here. So we have that. We can talk Scheffler. We can talk no more Aaron Rodgers, but the Royals are on the brain here on the off day because of the call up. So that's where we'll spend a little more time here. We'll talk about that series with Detroit when we return. Royals now 8 games back. They're in 4th place in the division. They're 8 games back, and their schedule relief, I just got to be brutally honest with people, is not coming. Well, they'll get a brief one this week on the road, but there's not much there. There's not much schedule relief on the table. You'll play 2 bad teams this month, basically, and everybody else is either good or really good.
It's also a real tease. You call up one of the most touted prospects in the last couple of decades, and you don't get to see him for 9 days. We got a road trip that's a week long.
So, well, that's not a bad thing either. That might be by design a little bit too. I don't think it is. What we can hit on. I think it's more of like, all right, that's enough. Then
I think
start him on the road so he doesn't know. I think it was just like a moment of desperation. We'll tell you why as we review that Tigers series when we return on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now. 83101 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
right, welcome back. You want to win some HTO? You can do that right now by texting the keyword T to 20357. That's T 20357. Try the all-new Cherry Tea. That will be available for you with one of these gift cards from us here at Sports Daily. These will be good for East Wichita, West Wichita, or in Derby. You can enter once per day message and data rates apply. That's T20357. Good luck, everybody. Welcome back into Sports Daily. TJ Cleveland in for Tommy Castor. I'm Jacob Albrock. Max Powers producing. Shedeur, Dion kind of firing back a little bit on all the Shedeur stuff. We can get into that. Maybe that's where we go with the next segment. But let's go back. We've talked almost exclusively about Jack Caglione, not about why he got called up, TJ, as much. And the reason he got called up is because the Royals have got to have him, basically. Another disappointing offensive series against the Tigers. They manage a total of 1 run in the final 2 games, which is sort of what they do. The series before Cincinnati, it was, 6-8 runs over 3 games. Like they're just, it's not going. And so they've lost now 3 straight series.
They only
4 out of the last 5, 5 out of the last 6, 6 out of the last 7 series have been lost series. This is a problem, and we knew this, and we warned, like, careful with the 18 out of 20. It's been against really bad opponents. Their schedule gets really difficult, and I don't think the Royals are ever outmatched in any of this. But to imagine how good their pitching's been. What did Tommy sent me this yesterday, and maybe you've seen this. Chris Bubich has had 1 or fewer runs of support in 6 of his 12 starts this year. Dude's the Cy Young leader, I would think, right now.
Does he have a losing record? He might have. He's pretty close to 500 at least.
Isn't that crazy though? 6 out of 12 games, and my reaction to Tommy was, I'll bet it's that way for all the starters.
Yeah.
It's probably not just him.
That's the thing that people talk about, the 18 to 20 that they won. They threw like 8 shutouts during that span, and they won a couple of games, 1-0, 2-1, stuff like that. So the fact is that the pitching has been doing literally every single thing that they can. Like, you can't ask for a better pitching staff.
No, you cannot, and you cannot ask. The problem is too, it's like it's worn on the bullpen. I think the bullpen is not as good. Like there's something to there has to be, like, being a pitcher at the big league level when like we're not, like, there's no room for error here. Like, we just can't make a mistake. That's too much to ask of them when you're trying to be a playoff team. Like, they can't be that perfect all the time. It's not possible. And that's where you get, like, the Cags call up. Like, at some point, something has to give. We're starting our 3rd month of this season. Like, the offense isn't going to just magically change now.
They're 60 games in. When does a slump not become a slump anymore?
Exactly. Right. I totally agree. And it's hard because last year was the opposite, right? There's no, you can't really quantify it. It's unclutch, right? They're just like, there's no clutch in this lineup. Last year they were over clutch. Well, maybe it's not clutch. It's just a law of averages, and it's because they don't have any power hitters, right? They have no, and look, they're great teams in recent history did not have power hitters. Those were not home run teams, but they were productive teams and timely, and the clutch thing. Like, that's what this team doesn't do at all, right? It's just not, like, 9 hits and no runs yesterday.
If you can't drive in the runners in scoring position, somebody's got to hit a couple home runs in the lineup somewhere. Is the recipe that you just got to, like, that's the thing. Like 2015, you want to make the argument the Royals were a small ball team. They didn't hit home runs back then. But yeah, but they also just got hits with runners in scoring position. This team doesn't do that. And there's, as you said, there's no way to quantify it. What are they? You said they're 12th in hits and 28th in runs. It's just, at a point, it's almost just bad luck that they just can't get the hits when they need to get the hits.
I don't think it's bad luck. I don't think they have.
Isn't just, you can't quantify what it is that's not.
It's clutch. I mean, the timing. It's runners in scoring position, which they were probably over good at last year. That probably wasn't real. And so this year, I don't think they're also this bad. There's a law of averages at play, but there are things happening, right? Bobby Witt Jr. hasn't hit very many home runs, but he's still doing all these productive things. Maikel Garcia is the great revelation probably of this season, but it's not through power, right? Their best players all kind of do the same thing. They're pesky, they're productive, they get on base. Vinny and Salvi have even started to come around a little bit, but Salvi's not hitting home runs. I don't know if that could be a part of his aging. Like he could just become a doubles hitter, right? Vinny just doesn't hit for power when the time calls for power. Like he just, I don't know. That's something that should get better. He was an RBI guy last year. Remember, he almost had 100 in.
He was unbelievable. The law of averages is right. Vinny Pasquantino is the biggest proponent you can see in that. Because he didn't get hits unless there was a runner on second base. He did not get a hit that wasn't an RBI. Rarely. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's going to change. So some of that can probably improve, but when you look at it in totality, it's like, okay, nothing's going to change the overall dynamic of this team other than a dynamic power hitter or two. And they got one. They had one sitting there. That's why they had to call up Cags, but it's killing them right now at the big league level. Killing them. I mean, they are in a position to score a run in most innings, and they just don't. That is just crippling to the psyche. It has to be of a team.
Yeah. I was asking last night, at what point do you just think, we talked about it earlier in the show, that when they're in the AL Central, when they're in the American League, and the way that this race is set up, they're above 500 and they're out of the playoffs right now. What do you do? How important are these games right now? How important is this stretch that they're about to go on? And what can you do whenever the offense performs like that? Do you go make another move? Do you trade somebody?
Yes. Sure. Yes, you do. You go make another move. I don't think they're done.
What do you do? You trade. First of all, I'll ask you this question. Brandon and I were talking. Noah Cameron keeps going like this. Do you trade Noah Cameron for a power bat?
So we talked about this too. I think it depends. I think it'll be an interesting one because you have to see what your own scouts think of him. Do you think? Because if you think he projects into a middle of the rotation type starter, then no, I don't think you trade him. I think you hang because you're not going to have Waka Lugo forever. Probably not going to have Lorenzen forever. Bubic you project out to have for a while. Reagans you project out to have for a while. You traded away Brady Singer. You're going to need him basically at some point. Now, if your scouts don't project him that way and you think he's overperforming right now, then I think you strongly consider it. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Ask the Texas Rangers about that because they traded Reagans, who honestly has a profile pretty similar to Noah Cameron.
He wasn't a top prospect for Texas, was he?
He was probably, like Noah Cameron, their most ready and top-ish pitching prospect, which is what Cameron is. The Royals don't have very many pitching prospects right now. So that's kind of what Reagans was, but they had such a clear need. Aroldis Chapman, they would not have won a World Series without Aroldis Chapman. He wasn't even that good, and they would not have won a World Series without Aroldis Chapman. So they're not going to regret that trade necessarily, but you got to be careful because, yeah, they'd sure wish and like to have, Cole Reagans for the next 6 years. So I think you got to be careful if you project him out and you think he can be a member of the rotation, you probably don't trade him. I think the good news about the Cags call is you can see what impact that has on the lineup. I think, honestly, with the Cags call, I don't think they're going to need to trade a player like Noah Cameron. I don't know that you'd have to find a controllable young, that's probably not very likely. Colton Cowser is the name of my brain. He's about to come off the IL. He's a young outfielder for the Orioles who's been productive, who's not one of their ultra prospects, of which they have a bunch, but he projects to be a good big league player for a while. Would you trade him for a guy like that? A controllable? Yeah, probably. But I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to trade that. So if you're just looking for a hired gun to come in and give you some pop out of the outfield, that probably Noah Cameron's probably not going to be what you have to give up to get that. I don't know how many of those guys are out there right now anyway. Not very many because everybody's competitive. There's only a handful of bad teams in baseball.
Yeah.
that's why another reason I think getting the Cags, service time aside, making the Cags call should have happened a while ago because they need it and they need to see what they have so that they can evaluate the trade deadline. I don't know whether they should trade somebody because I don't know how much Cags is going to help them.
I don't know. I always joke that whenever we get to trade deadline time, it's a lot like college basketball whenever the transfer portal comes out. What's every team in America looking for? Yeah, we're looking for a guy that can shoot the three. What's every team in the MLB looking for? We're looking for a guy that can add a spark to the lineup. Yeah, every single team in the playoff picture is looking for one of those. So, as I say, there's a short list of guys that are out there that they could go get. But like you said, Cags is going to be the experiment. What can one of these guys do in your lineup? If it works, add another one.
Yes, add another one. I agree. Okay, I totally agree with that. But also remember how much like Yuli Gurriel helped this team down the stretch last year. There are going to be those guys too that aren't going to cost you Noah Cameron, right? They're not. So it may not need that. Now, if Cags falls flat and they're like, crap, we have to, then you could think about it. I wouldn't be scared to trade him. The only thing, and we don't know this, is like, I'd be scared to trade him if I knew the Royals scouts loved him, right? If you internally, you project him out to be, let's call it a number 3 big league starter, right? I don't know that they probably shouldn't trade that. They probably should hang on to that and build a future rotation around Ragans, Bubic, and Cameron. But like, if they don't see him that way, then trade him now. But trade him before the reality comes in. But sometimes you got to see it, man. How do you ignore what you've seen? When's the next time he pitches? He pitches again tomorrow, the 4th, so Wednesday, the second game of the Cardinals series. I mean, at some point too, like the numbers don't lie. Like the dude's good. He's effective. Seth Lugo's a good example of that. Nobody knew he was going to be this kind of starter. They just put him out there and it just kind of stayed good the whole time, right? He wasn't a starter forever. That's only been the last handful of years. Sometimes it just works and guys just get it and great. Like you found a third starter.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was another conversation that we had is, and I know Q talked about this. I'm not sure if you listen to this or not, that what do you do now that you've got a 6th starter whenever Cole Reagan?
I'd make a 6-man rotation.
Would you go a true 6 or does that throw off a Seth Lugo?
No, the only reason I would do, I've been afraid of this all year. So, and I've said it here, people have heard me say it a billion times, I'm probably sick of it. Like what the Royals saw last year, like you always had to protect against every one of your starters setting new highs in innings pitched. They were always going to have to protect against that. The chances that they would be able to make it through the year basically fully healthy again, which is more or less what happened last year, are pretty low. So what can they do to protect it? We've already seen Ragans and Lugo now on the IL, same time, but they've already had that. Ragans probably should have been on there twice. I think you got to be really careful. And I think like Bubic is doing something he hasn't yet as a big leaguer. So protecting these guys makes sense just fine. I would for a month. The problem with doing that is, and Jalen Thompson has brought this up to us, they basically don't play a Monday game all month. So they are all going to be on extra rest anyway. So now you're going 2 days extra rest.
You're looking at it, you pitch once a week, basically.
So that's probably not going to happen for that reason, because they already have built-in days off and everybody's already in a 5-man rotation going to be treated like a 6-man rotation. So then the more likely scenario is you get your guys back. To me, Lorenzen last year went up and down rotation to bullpen all year long for the Rangers before he even got to the Royals. He famous. I think it was his last game as a Ranger. He pitched the night before and they were in a jam because somebody got hurt and he came out and started the next game. Like he is a Swiss Army knife. And honestly, like his attitude is one of my favorite things about this. Like if you just watch him on the bench, he's always firing the young guys up. Like I think he's so great. I think you can just honestly let him play Swiss Army knife. Just hang in the bullpen. They could use him right now in the bullpen. Like it's not like they're lights out right now in the bullpen. And then when the time arises when somebody has to miss time, you can just immediately just start pitching that way again. Basically what you kind of want them to do with Daniel Lynch, but he's not ready for. Just do that with Lorenzen. You can't send Cameron down now.
I agree. I think you put Lorenzen in the bullpen, and I think that Lorenzen is just going to be a bullpen guy on standby until somebody goes to the IL, then he comes right back in.
Which is just fine. And I don't think he would have a problem with that. He chose to come back to Kansas City, though. So if there was some sort of like gentleman's agreement, like you're going to be a starter here, that's why where he maybe didn't have that opportunity other places. I doubt that's the case. That is total, like maybe, who knows, but you'd have to think about that too if you're the Royals. But what you can't do is send Cameron down. Yep. If he keeps pitching like this, that would be you're struggling. Like you just can't. Unless he has a couple starts where he struggles, then you can, because you have options. But I mean, if he's going to keep looking like Tom Glavine out there, what are you going to do? Like, you got to keep going with that guy.
Yeah. Hey, we're ignoring the fact that the Royals got a new up-and-coming prospect in AAA. Rich Hill pitched last night in Omaha. 45-year-old Rich Hill to be a new bullpen arm down the stretch.
He gives you something. I mean, that's why they have him there. So they go 3 again. They're all on the road this week. 3 in St. Louis, 3 in Chicago against the White Sox. I don't know. I would say, go 4-2 should be the expectation. Win both of these series, certainly. I think it could be more than that, but the Cardinals are pretty good. The Cardinals have good pitching, and the Royals are going to have to outpitch them. They'll get Reagans back on Thursday. Are they bringing Reagans back Thursday? I believe he's scheduled. Yeah, he's scheduled to pitch on the 5th, and then Lugo's scheduled to pitch on the 7th. Mm-hmm. No, sorry, Lugo's scheduled to pitch on the 6th. So you're looking at Thursday, Friday, maybe. Let me just check the team website, because this will be really interesting to see how the Royals do this week. Let me see if the team is officially saying that same thing. Yeah, they haven't even announced a starter. So don't listen to what I just said. They don't have a starter announced for Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. The initial thought was that Lugo could come back. I think, is it Lugo or Reagans? Do you recall Friday? I know one of them.
Lugo pitched this last weekend.
Lugo's, but then maybe Reagans is Friday. Then maybe they're thinking Reagans could get back by Friday. So we're getting close to having him back. Lugo pitches past Friday. Is that right?
I think so.
No issues that came out of that start. So yeah, he should be fine to go on his regular day. But they haven't announced it yet, which means they don't have a decision. Lorenzen's supposed to go tomorrow. So, and then Cameron. That's what the Royals have on their website, is that Lorenzen will go Tuesday, Cameron will go Wednesday. They don't have anybody announced. So I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to give Lugo extended rest coming back off the IL? Would that make Friday to give him a full week, Friday to Friday, but then who pitches Thursday? They haven't, and that's probably where you're seeing some speculation that maybe that's Reagan's spot, but I don't know. It's a good problem to have. I'm not terribly concerned about it, but I don't know what they're going to do. But it's a week. This should be, because just real quick, you've got that this week. Okay, so you have Cardinals, White Sox. Your next week, Yankees, A's. Okay, kind of the same thing. Then it's Texas, Padres, Rays, Dodgers, and Mariners to finish out the month. So you've got basically the White Sox and the A's series against bad teams. Everybody else is good.
Yep.
In an entire month.
They're also, back to Caglione here, not to keep beating this drum, is there could have been an argument that let's call them up before we play the White Sox, before we get into that stretch.
Yeah, because they're going to play some good pitchers there in St. Louis, but I'm telling you, it had to be what we like. They had to have been watching that Tigers series and just said, that's enough. Like, we can't. 9 hits yesterday and no runs. Like that, that has to be the most maddening thing. It's got to be why they called him up. We'll see it tomorrow. We'll have plenty more time tomorrow to talk about that. When we come back, let's go Deion Sanders. Kind of chirping back a little bit about all the Shedeur talk. I think it's interesting. We'll tell you what he said and dig in a little bit when we return on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now. 83101 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad to have you here with us on Sports Daily. It should be a great rest of the show here. We're happy that you're with us. Thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up each and every morning here, all across the Odyssey family of networks. Let's talk about this Prime. He's going to catch all the headlines today. So Prime basically came and he did an interview with Asante Samuel. It hurt, he said, and this is all about Shedeur, what we're talking about here. I'm sure they talked about other things. But just, he said there was some foolish stuff that went on that gave him something they needed. That edge Tom Brady had, it gave him the edge, gave me the edge I have. Folks said we weren't going to be nothing. We had to prove that. It gave him the edge they needed. So then here he gets, he gets into some of the specifics here. Remember, Shedeur was accused of not taking meetings seriously. Here's a quote from Prime. When you sit up there and say something like he went into a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shedeur Sanders, who had 6 different offensive coordinators and still functioned and leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, you're going to tell me he was unprepared? You're going to tell me he had on headphones? Anybody who knows my son understands he's a professional. He's going to go into a meeting with headphones on. Y'all, come on now. So, and then he went on to talk about how his kids have been in front of the camera their whole lives. Like, they know how to deal with this. I don't know who's telling the truth here. It seems weird that many teams would pass on him that many times if there wasn't some sort of consensus that there was an attitude issue. I would tell you this, though, and it's what I've said from the beginning. I think he has a chance to be an average to slightly above average NFL quarterback. I like him as a prospect. Some of that stuff was always going to be there. It's what happens now. I was surprised there wasn't a team willing to take a risk on this dude's going to get that stuff figured out. Like, even if he is arrogant, his dad is the most famous arrogant athlete probably of all time, who used it to his advantage, who I'm a big fan of, by the way. Is there a chance he works through that? Yeah, I'd say there's probably a pretty good chance. So if it really does come down to can he just play the position at this level, that's why I'm surprised he got passed on so much. So, look, Prime's coming to his defense. He hasn't really said anything. I guess that shouldn't surprise us. Of course he's going to come to his defense.
Yeah, you said it. Somebody's lying in this situation. But the fact of the matter is that even if, Prime's telling the truth that he doesn't think that his kid would do that and all that stuff, it honestly comes down to the fact that it really doesn't matter what the pre-draft process was like. I think that the biggest thing of why he slipped that many teams is the fact of, you look at him and like, is this guy going to be a bona fide starting quarterback, best quarterback on your roster? And for a lot of these teams, that wasn't true. Like the Giants were really one of the only teams that like needed a quarterback. The Saints turned out that they needed to be one, but they had Derek Carr at the time. The Steelers are another one of those that you could list off here, but the fact of the matter is like, do you like him enough that you want to deal with having Shedeur Sanders as your quarterback? It's the same thing as when the Ball brothers were going through the NBA draft process and all that stuff. Of you're going to draft the kid, you're going to get LeVar Ball to come as well. How good do you think this kid's going to be? That's the reason that nobody gave LiAngelo Ball a chance, because we're not going to take on LiAngelo Ball to be the 10th guy on our bench just to deal with the headlines of having a Ball brother. So he had Shedeur, and he ended up being a backup quarterback, and it's already happening. The Browns are already getting questions about, hey, how was Shedeur's reps today? Why did he not get as many reps as Kenny Pickett today?
Yeah. Look, at some point, it's a combination of things, right? Like NFL teams show us all the time. They're willing to put up with distractions if the player's very talented. Shedeur has always been a polarizing prospect, on the field, right? All the off the field stuff aside, he's been a pretty polarizing prospect. There are some people that going into the year thought he might be the best quarterback in the class. There are some people that thought he might not be in the top 10, right? He's very polarizing as a player. I think some of the things he dealt with in college, though, are why I think he's an intriguing prospect, was always under pressure and did have a change basically at offensive coordinator every year of his amateur career. So I think those things are things that rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks in the NFL struggle with. If he can translate that, then he'll be okay. But now he has to do this other thing. What's so disappointing to me is you've got to know that's already going to be a thing that follows you, though, into the league. So to know that and not at least fake it, that's a little bit concerning. Like, teams are already going to give you this reputation that you've been handed everything because your dad's the coach and all this stuff. And then to show up and back that up, I'm like, man, you could have faked that. Like, even if you don't believe it, you get in there, yes, sir, and you act the part so that you can get drafted. Like, that's the part that surprised me a little bit. It really only matters, though, if he can play. And I think he's the most talented quarterback in the Browns room. I think for him, and maybe this is more to what Prime was talking about, he's actually been placed in a pretty good position because there's almost no pressure on him now to be good for a while. Like, we'll forget about it. Like, this is a fun story now, and we love quarterbacks, and we'll always kind of pay attention to that with the Browns if they struggle. But what is the expectation for him now? Like, there's almost none. That's not a bad place for him to come in either and just get out there and prove it when the time comes. It's also probably not a bad thing for him, if he approaches it the right way, to just chill and soak it in real quick, because he might get killed in the NFL too.
Yeah. I don't know who the week 1 starter is going to be there. Joe Flacco, I imagine.
Probably.
So that's the thing, is that that's another aspect of that as well, is that if he is the backup quarterback, he's better than Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel sits there and waits for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's 40. How old is Joe Flacco? He's in his 40s, right?
I think he hit 40 this year. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have much years left in him. He was retired like 2 years ago. So
he is 40. Yeah. He turned 40.
I mean, that's a really great spot to be in if you're a rookie quarterback, knowing that, like, there's doubts about your game. Just sit there and just take it in, be the backup quarterback for a while, and then when it happens,
that's where Prime brings up Tom Brady, right? That's perfect, right? If you're going to get the slight now, you want that chip on the shoulder to grow, but you better use it like Tom Brady used it. You better not feel entitled and pout. That's what we don't know yet. How does he use this perceived slight? It is a slight. It's not even perceived. It's a slight. How does he use it? Does he let it fire him up and put the chip on his shoulder? Or do you whine and complain about it? We don't really know. He's never had to do it before. I think, people always say he's only had his dad as a coach. And I'm like, he's good enough to command the position clearly. It's a Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year we're talking about here. Like, let's chill with that a little bit. Like, all of a sudden, we don't like the DNA of your dad being a former pro athlete. Like, get out of here with that, right? Like, we see it all the time.
There's the argument, too, that people didn't think that Deion was a good coach until obviously they ended up having the success that they had this last year.
Clearly he is, right?
And so, I mean, the argument that he's only ever had his dad as his coach, it's like, well, he also didn't really have a great team when he played at Colorado, except for, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, and, Dylan Edwards and that running back room and all that stuff over those 2 years. So, like, he's been dealt not a great, like, this wasn't a quarterback at Ohio State. If he went to Ohio State, he probably would have been pretty freaking awesome.
I know, because he'd had a great offensive line. And I agree. That's why he's always intrigued me as a prospect, is because he's way better than I thought he was. Yeah. To my eyes, like, watching him play, I'm like, whoa, he's way better than I thought he was. And he was great. I thought he was an incredible college football player. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Prime's going to come to his defense. I think the best thing now is for Prime to not say anything. And look, this is a setting where he's asked about it, and I'm sure he's close with Asante Samuel to Hall of Fame level. I get all that, and Prime's done a good job of just not really, he doesn't really say anything about it. And that's now what the transition is going to have to be, because Prime's going to get asked about it every week too, but Prime knows how to handle that. Like, he can be a jerk sometimes and he will be if that's the path he decides to take. Like, he just don't want to talk about it, he won't. But I think that's probably the best thing for Shedeur. Like, okay, Prime, you said your piece. Like, I get the form. Like, let that be it, though. Because it's not so much that Shedeur has to prove this to his coaches. To me, it's that he's got to prove it to his teammates, right? And the only way you prove it to your teammates is to get in there and prove it. You just get in there at practice, be the best practice player, be the best meeting player, be the best, all of that stuff. Listen to the older players. That helps. Right? Let Joe Flacco teach you how to go through the process. I'm glad Joe Flacco's there for Shedeur. Listen to those guys. Even if you don't want to, just fake it, right? and get them back on your side, because right now he's walking into that room and everybody has the perception that was created through the draft process. Whether it's true or not, that's the perception. I mean, it is.
I mean, that's the name of the game, and that's the reason the draft combine exists, is so you can go talk to these people, and it's a job interview. Like, you're not going to go at, like, anybody that goes in there doing that. So I mean, I don't know. You sit there, you talk to the media at the combine, you talk to all these GMs and coaches at the combine. That you're literally only doing that just to say, like, I would love to play for this franchise. I would love to be a leader for this franchise, and that's the only thing that you have to say. And
he jumped the gun.
If he
jumped the gun, right? Like, you may think all of the things that are reported that he said and acted like, but you can't do that until you prove it. The thing is, he has proved it at every level. Now you got to go prove it at the highest level, but you can't, like, in 10 years, if he walks into a meeting and tells the coaches what he thinks they should be doing, guess what? That's what every great quarterback's doing every single week, right? Like, they're all doing that. They all go into that meeting and think, I think we should be doing this, right? You just got to get there first. You got to, again, at least fake it. So hopefully this is it for Prime. I think the best thing for all of them will be for that to just chill and him to work through camp. And we'll all be watching in training camp.
Just as well for the fact of the image, like, people didn't like Colorado because those guys talk so much, basically. Like, the best thing that he can do is to just be a backup quarterback right now and, like, become the lovable quarterback to take over the ground.
Yes, just for now. Like, do it until you're given the chance to start.
Or a good starting quarterback, then you can just do it again.
Then you can do what you want, right? Like, if you just get out the chance to get out there and prove it, the problem is, like, he's going to be a rookie quarterback and he's going to take his licks. And hopefully for him, like, he takes him in practice. The good news is he doesn't have to take him in a game, which is, you get sacked 15 times a game at Colorado and you get sacked 15 times a game in the NFL. It's a little different, right? You're not going to run 60 plays like you did in Colorado game and have a chance. Also, those guys are bigger, meaner, stronger, and they'll hurt you. So, like, we'll see what happens with him. But I thought it was interesting. Kind of the first real thing we've heard from Prime. So it shouldn't surprise us, though. He's there defending his son, as we all would. That's the other. There's not really a lot of other headlines. We'll look around the NFL tomorrow. Real quick, TJ, because we just got a couple of minutes here in our last full segment of this hour. Who are you taking, Thunder, Pacers?
I'm taking the Thunder in a sweep. 4 games.
Whoa. Okay. All right. I don't think so. On a sweep. I think the Thunder, but not on a sweep. All right. We'll come back. We'll tell you what's coming up. We got more Sports Daily. Don't go away.